this video, you'll be able to learn Leadsheet and also be able to play any pop song that you like. Are you ready? Hi there, my name's Olivia. Today is the last video from 0 to 1 piano series. I know for the first 3 videos, we have covered a lot of basic stuff in music, like basic rhythms, how to recognize all the notes and the music staff. However, a lot of adult students that I met, they prefer, to learn pop music over classical repertoires. So Leadsheet will be very beneficial for those of you who want to, learn piano right away and be able to just play chords and sing along with it, like sing and play. So in today's video, we're just going to cover 2 basic chords that you will use on a daily basis. Major chord and also minor chords. There's still, tons of other chord values, but for today, we just need to learn major and minor, as well as the 7th chord. And by the end of the video, we're gonna go through the teacher's Manchester River step by step, so we can practice along with these chords. Without further ado, let's get started.
Hi, so welcome back to my teaching studio. Today we're going to introduce you major chord and minor chord, as well as 7th chord. So what are chords? In the past videos, we've learned notes, intervals. If you don't remember it, let's review it here. So notes are just individual notes that you will see on the score, or A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So just that individual note are calling notes. If it's an interval, that means the distance between 2 notes. Let's say if we go from G to A, that's an interval of 2 because G to A has 2 steps. If you go from G to B, then that would be 1, 2, 3, 3 steps. So intervals refers to the distance between 2 notes. Now, chords. What are chords? Chords usually consist of 3 or more notes. If we take a look at the keyboard right here, this is C, right? A chord has 3 notes, which is a skip apart. So make sure that these 3 notes are skipping from the other. We're always skipping 1 note in between the 2 and skip another between the 2. So that's what we call chords. Chords is based on 3 notes or more. Sometimes we have 4 notes. We're just skipping here. Okay, this is what we call chords. And if we only have 3 notes in a chord, we call it as triad. Triad refers to the chords that only has 3 notes. If we have 4 notes in the chord, we call it a 7th chord. 7th chord. Why do we call it 7th? Remember, because the distance between the bottom note here to the top note here is an interval of 7. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So as long as you have the 7 on top of a letter, that means that chord would have 4 notes in total. And whenever you see it on the lead sheet, you will see that we have a letter name and either with or without a 7th. If we have a C here, that means we're composing a chord based on the note C. If we have C7, that means we're having C, E, G, and B in that chord. If we are having D chord here, without any 7 or anything, that means we're composing a chord that contains 3 notes starting from D. So this is C, right? If we want to have a D chord, then we'll be going from D, skip this note, to F, skip this note, to A. So this will be D chord. Now you understand what are chords. Let's talk about different values for chords. Most commonly used chords are major or minor chords. So what's the difference between a major chord and a minor chord? Major chord usually sounds happier, more pleasant, and minor chord sounds more melancholy, or in other words, sad. And there's a really theoretical approach to compose, major and minor, rather than just feeling the major or minor, right? You can't just randomly say, okay, this chord should be a minor because it sounds like it. But we do have, theoretical approach to make that happen. How can we make a major chord? Let's talk about that. Remember last video we talked about whole step and half step? If you don't remember, go back and check it out. Or I'm gonna just briefly review that for a second, okay? Whole step is the adjacent two notes here has a black key in between. So if you want to go somewhere with a whole step, make sure that you do have a note in between this adjacent note. If it's a half step, then we do not have any note in between these two notes. So whole step and half step. Major chord usually has 4 half steps in between the first note to the second note. And 3 half steps from the second note to the top note. So let's coming back to this. We have C. Now we want to compose a C major chord. Let's start counting. C major, make sure that this note to the second note has to be 4 half steps up. So the first half step will go to here, this black key. Second half step will be from this black key to the white key here. And the third step will be from this white key to the black key here. And lastly, we're going to landing on this white key right here. So E will be the second note for C major chord. And the last step will be finding the top note, which is 3 half steps from the middle note. So from here, 1 half steps to here, 2 half steps here, and 3 half steps here. So C, E, G will be the notes for C major chord. And C, E, G will be for C major. So for major, we do not need to label anything else, after this letter, just the uppercase C. If you want to compose a 7th chord, the only thing you can add on the right corner will be just the 7, number 7 here. And then just adding another note in this chord. Now let's talk about minors. So major are 4 half steps plus 3 half steps. Minor is the complete opposite. So minor chords is 3 half steps first, then 4 half steps. Let's take C again. If we want to make a C minor chord, we're still having C as our first note here. But this time from the first note to the second note, it's going to be 3 half steps up. So from here to here, 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps. So this will be the second note, which is E flat. If you don't remember flat, sharp, so natural, please come back to the previous video. We talked about that. So the second note will be this E flat, and then we're going from E flat 4 half steps up to find the top note here. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. This will be the top note we have for C minor. So we have C, E flat, and G. This is for C minor. Notice, how can we differentiate major and minor? Major, we just need to label the uppercase letter. But for minor, not only the uppercase letter, but also put a lowercase m next to it. That means C minor. If we want to go from like D, it will be D minor. Without the M, then will be major. And E minor, or without M, major, etc., etc. And then if you want to, have 4 notes in this chord, then just simply put a 7 on top of it. So that's everything we need to cover today: major, minor, and the 7th chord. Now let's get back to the piano and learn Peaches by Justin Bieber. Okay, now we'll come back to the piano. So here we just learned major chord and minor chord. We're gonna just to visualize all the major and minors on the actual keyboard and get started with our Peaches. So first of all, a major chord, like we talked about, is 4 half steps from the first 2 notes and the 3 half steps from the second note to the top note. So if you want to compose a major chord, make sure that you are meeting these criteria. Let's say if we're going from F, and then if we want to make a F major chord, it will be 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, and 4 steps. That's where we get the second note from F major. And then from the second note, we're gonna compose a 3 half steps up. So 1 step, 2 step, and 3 steps. Now we get this. That's how we find a major chord. And then if we want to play a major 7th, we just simply add a skip up from the top note. This is what we call the major 7th. And since we're starting on F, so it's an F major 7th. And the minor chord is the opposite like major. So we need to find 3 half steps first, then the 4 half steps up. So if we're starting from E, the first note is E, to the second note, 3 half steps up. 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps. So G will be the second note. And then we need 4 half steps from the second note to the top note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get to have B. So this is what we call E minor chord. And if we want to compose an E minor 7, we just simply add a skip up from the top note. Hear the difference: F major 7, E minor 7. It's just simply a step down for each note. See that? If you're just placing it on the one hand, just this, and then just stepping up, actually stepping down for each note. Okay? Now you just learned F major and E minor, which actually are 2 of the chords from Peaches. So the song Peaches is actually just having 4 chords in total. Now we learned the first 2 already. So we have this, and then we have this. And the third one will be another step down from the second chord. So can we see what's the value for this chord? So from this 2 notes, it's a 3 half steps. And for these 2 notes, it's a 4 half steps and a skip up. So this is a D minor 7th chord. And lastly, we're going to have another step down. So C, E, G, B. It's a C major 7th chord because we do have a 4 half steps for the first two and 3 half steps for the second two. And then let's skip up from the bottom, up on top. Actually, if you know how to play this chord progression, a lot of songs, a lot of pop songs are actually using the same chord progression. That's why we can kind of, going from one song to the other because they're following the same routine, always doing. If we get to play, I'm not going to sing, but if you get to play, it's going to sound like this. And then the entire song just repeating this. I'm just rolling the chord from bottom up. You can just do exactly the same thing for both hands so you can have a richer sound. Like this. That's it. Okay, so that's everything we need to cover for today. In today's lesson, we've covered major chord, minor chord, and also what is the triad, what is the 7th chord. These are really fundamental chords that we use for pop music. And then we also went over the chords, that 4 chords for Peaches by Justin Bieber. Now, if you look at the lead sheet, you will understand what's going on that paper and will be able to find the chords and everything by yourself. Hope you enjoyed this video and start building the system in your brain so you can use the same approach to any other songs that you like. In the next series of video, I'm going to introduce music producer theory, which will dive into more details about chords and everything. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next videos.